Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 114 of Malt and Magic, the Returned Kingdom of Nialin. And it is our final episode of Campaign 1, which is nuts, insane, emotional, very sad, but at the same time, what a journey we have been on. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us, ultimately. Thank you for all the support you've given us thus far. Hopefully this will be a nice, fitting end to the campaign. And so we will get into it relatively quickly. For the final time in this campaign, I'm going to give our shout-outs and thank yous to all the tools that we've used over the past 114 episodes. So an absolutely huge shout-out and thank you to Incarnate, Owlbear Rodeo and Dungeon Alchemist. I also want to thank Roll20 because we've used that in the past as well, just for all our virtual tabletop and mapping needs. Of course, a huge thank you to D&D Beyond for everything they've provided in terms of helping us to manage this game, run this game, and generally create our characters, manage those characters. That's an invaluable tool for any D&D game. Words. Any D&D game. Already getting emotional as we start. A massive shout out to Hero Forge. We've used them from pretty much the very start in terms of our character visuals, so it's amazing to see how far that tool's come on just in the last couple of years, to be honest. And then there's the DM's tools that I use in the background, so Kassoon, 5e Magic Shop, 2 Minutes Tools, and the Thieves Guild. And then you've got all of our musical tracks, sound effects, some of those courtesy of Tabletop Audio, so thank you to them. And a huge, probably the biggest thank you, I think, needs to go out to Battle Bards. We've been affiliated with them since very early days. Hopefully we will continue that affiliation through into Campaign 2 and beyond. But yes, you can see the code on screen now. Please go use that code when you register and get any sound effects as part of your own game, podcasts, whatever you're running. Use those sound effects. Knock yourselves out. Get yourselves a cheeky discount. So yes, go check that out. Of course, you can see all of our social media links along the bottom there, bar one, which is Discord, as we do have the Discord channel now, but please go check out their social media channels. There will be some updates coming out, obviously, over the next couple of days and the next week or so. We do have some schedule announcements to make, the highlights of which I will give you now. So, obviously, our Campaign 1 closes tonight. Next week, we are going to take a well-deserved week off. Everybody's just going to reset, refresh. Then we're going to run the first part of a 2-part special, just a little almost one-shot, 2-shot, I suppose you can call it. And the following week there will be a Malt, Magic and More special, which will be breaking down Campaign 1, so don't miss that out. Then we'll have part 2, there'll probably be some rebroadcasts towards the end of December, but Campaign 2 itself will kick off in January next year. So not too long to wait, but still, there will be things to keep you entertained and still Malt and Magic every Monday night, on most Monday nights, between now and the new year, so don't miss out on that. What else do I have to talk about? Of course, there is the podcast as well, so if you want to catch those past episodes and you don't have access to YouTube, or you are moving, or whatever, and you'd rather listen to it on podcast, then please go check out the podcast on your podcast platform of choice. Leave us a rating or review if you can, please, and just help bump up those numbers. And help spread the word. Same with YouTube. If you're watching on there, thank you for joining us. Please hit the like and subscribe and the bell, the notifications, just so you get notified every time we have a new episode out. What else do I have to talk about? Of course, there is a Discord channel. I mentioned that earlier. If you are a follower or a subscriber, then there are some surprises and things in there for you. So go and check them out. I will also be following the close of Campaign 1, select homebrew items will be made available in the followers channel, so do not miss out on the chance to get hold of some of the magic items and the homebrew items we've used in Campaign 1 and use them in your own games or wherever you want to use them. So yes, please join the Discord channel. There's stuff in there for everyone, but obviously special things for followers and subscribers. I think that is it for my thank yous, for my announcements. I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about. So yes, let's dive into this. I don't even know what to describe it. Episode of Mortal Magic. So yeah, let's roll. Ooh. Here we go. It was weird seeing those words pop up there. So, I suppose for the final time in this campaign, let's run down the lineup. So I'm Matt, and Samal's just dropped off the face of the planet.
Just cast darkness on
there he is.
No, I'm still
That
here.
was it. He just went, I'm out. I'm done. I'm Matt. I'm the Dungeon Master for this evening, and for the final time, I will be playing the psychic character of Bothrid.
Never say never.
You'd never say never.
True.
I want to do like an Expendables type campaign where we're all old and past it and we come back to save the day. That's what I want.
That's when the franchise just needs a little bit of a boost and just doesn't work anymore.
That's when we've run out of ideas. And I will be playing King Ander for Nialin for the last time. Well, for the time being. Long live the king.
Indeed.
Hello. I am Simon. I'm going to be playing Kirik Gravetusk for, well, the last time, and I am not ready.
In any way.
Nope.
It's probably still been on my character sheet I haven't used.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull out,
I
this random one that I've never used before. Yeah, I'm Dave. I am playing Dargon, Thunderhand Nalakutha, for the last time. At your service.
There we go. Indeed. So, as we kick off into this episode, let's recap the last couple of weeks. Not that we need to do much of a recap, because obviously there was a single big event that has pretty much governed that whole period, which was the fight with Asmodeus himself, or the avatar of Asmodeus himself. And so we had a two-parter on that fight. If you have missed that, then I highly encourage you to go and rewatch it, because there's a lot of details that came out, and I'm not going to spoil them for anybody that's not watched it. But also, there will be spoilers in this episode if you've not watched it. So yes,
you'd hope so, otherwise
probably
we're doing a
best.
shit job of it.
Probably best you might want to just go watch them first, maybe. But no, stick with us and then figure out what's happened. But yes, there was the big fight with Asmodeus, of which, of course, the Wardens were successful, as we have the returned Kingdom of Nialin now, and no longer the Forgotten Kingdom of Nialin. The end of that fight pretty much concluded with the Raven Queen taking the head of the avatar of Asmodeus, saying he would never use it again. And then there was a moment where the party had some decisions to make, as Ander had been struck down. I'm not going to say how. Again, go watch the episode if you've not already seen it. And so you were granted a wish. And Kirik, in true Kirik style, just went, no fucking way. Turned around, dumped a diamond straight into Ander's chest, resurrected him. There was some skill challenges involved in that, brought Ander back. And therefore you used your wish to free the soul that was trapped in the arcane wastes in the Fiendfall Chasm, and in doing so broke the spell that was keeping Nialin where it was, and returned Nialin back to the continent of Enoeth in the world of Ardalia.
It's new information, people, write that down.
Shit, this is campaign 2 plotting. Fuck.
Campaign 2 calling. Campaign 2.
Indeed. So yes,
it's like a Telltale game now. It just appears this information will be useful later. Everyone remembered that.
Amazing. So, in the moments following this, you all took a moment to breathe first, tend wounds, and I am now going to ask you what you wish to do following that.
Are we talking literally on, or like
literally
still there?
Minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes after the fight, once you've sort of taken a breather, understood, felt the ramifications of that wish spell, as it has rippled throughout the land of Nialin. If you remember, there was a battle still raging in the Black City, or you hoped it was still raging in the Black City. You have no idea what's been going on in that part of the kingdom.
Probably need to have a look, don't we? So yeah, they're getting on.
Do we need to help them? Do we need to try and get there?
Are we what a day's march probably from the Black City still?
Can we
We're
send a
more
message?
than a
Can we...
day's march, and this is Nathan talking, of course. Well, when she pulled me from the battlefield, it wasn't going well, but then they were guided by the power of Asmodeus, I guess, so... Whew, who knows? Thank you for the sub!
Thank you!
Amazing. So yes, we are much more than a day's march from... Unless we take the pass, I guess.
I mean... Yeah, why don't we try and get there? Even without their master, they're going to be a dangerous force, so we need to make sure it finishes quickly.
We
Can
could always
anyone send a message to them, though?
Well, I'm just thinking I could send a message to Admiral Swift. I've still got a sending stone. She's got one, hasn't she?
Send it now.
So I can send it. Right, how many words have we got? I'll pick it up. I'll get it out of my bag. How goes the battle? 10-4, 10-4. How goes the liberation of the Black City? Asmodeus is dead. The head is off the snake. We won. Over.
About a minute or so until a voice, or you hear a voice back in your head. It's like, yes, we kind of figured that. They all disappeared.
Yes. Amazing.
We're
Oh,
rescuing the captured now.
Do you...
I will relay that back to the group.
Yeah, no, I say we go help them. We can make sure the pass is clear. It's the quickest way back to the Malt Master's Keep, and an easy route back to Esamir for any of those who can't travel by magic. Let's make sure it's clear, and let's go help them.
So if everybody's disappeared, I suppose that would be the fiends and the devils and all of that, but we'd still have...
There's still vagrants, there's still bandits,
all
there's
the
still mercenaries.
Yeah, and we're still going to have, like, the Stillman knocking about with his Blade of Baal and stuff like that, aren't we? There's still going to be enemies about, so yeah.
Yeah,
We need to
so...
make sure it's safe.
Yeah, let's not hide back to Esamir for a drink and a chin wag while everyone else is still going to get back. So let's go over there first. We can, I suppose, on the way discuss about the fact that some forces need to then go back down south, not necessarily reclaim, but just make sure that they take on both of the south cities and reclaim one of them. So yeah, let's go to the Black City. Start there, where the evil is darkest.
Everyone make me a perception check, please.
16.
Ooh. 14.
Perception.
True Bothrid style, 11.
Or flat.
14.
14. Dargon,
Yeah.
you hear the faint sound, and then this quiet or distant sound of, what the fuck happened here?
Right. Nice for you to join us.
As Deimos sort of walks around the temple, and he's clearly come from Telma, and sort of walks around this temple that's still there, looks at the field ahead. Fucking hell. Looks like I missed all the fun. And you can see that his robes are splattered with sort of dark blood. There's the occasional burn, but generally, he looks okay.
Are you okay, and is everyone else that you know of okay?
Took a few casualties, but I think we held on pretty solid. They're bringing those that were strung up down now, and well, they're not so good. But
Well, do they need help?
we're working on it now. So figured I'd pop back and take you there quickest way and all that stuff.
Amazing, brilliant. Are the healers of Mantineer able to help you as well?
Healers are out there working, doing their job. They've been amazing. I thought we were going to lose Johannes at one point, but he fighters the healers, just waded in. No fear. Never seen anything like it. Crazy.
How many of you can you take? There's a few of us here.
How many we got?
I can't remember how many we've got. Is it 8?
Are we taking
9?
the feathered folk?
The feathered folk.
Tibial.
Breaker.
Tibial. Oh, yeah. I'll turn back to him.
I'm assuming you'll be returning to the Celestial Plane, you two.
Timiel's going to turn to look at you all and... Yes, I think I have done what I came here to do. Or at least you have done it for me. You have freed me, gentlemen.
The burn on him. The mark.
Maybe an investigation check, please.
Oh, good call.
Oh, sweet. 21.
You look at sort of Timiel's body and you can see where his armour was. It was a sleeveless armed shirt, as is his one, and these golden braces. But on his sort of shoulder-ish of his right arm, where previously you'd seen the brand of Asmodeus, there is now a shining golden symbol of a sun.
Nice.
I'm glad to see you're no longer tarnished by him. Timiel.
I am whole once again. And you will forever have my gratitude for that.
I've learned there is redemption in death. Doesn't always have to be our death, but someone's death. There's always redemption.
Kirik's going to smirk
Yes.
at that.
He'll get a nearly semi on at that. He'll be well happy.
Yeah. Definitely.
Your friend, he made the ultimate choice. Brave man.
Timiel, I'm so grateful for everything that you have done for us.
Don't be doggone. In all honesty, you were a means to an end to begin with, and now you're an end that I am all too glad to have helped with. My power is yours for as long as you need it.
Thank you.
As is she.
Can he keep the sword as well?
Yes. Himmel's Wrath
I was worried
is
you are.
a mere extension of my power at this point. She is no longer mine to command.
If you are ever in need, you know I'll be looking after her safely.
Oh, no, darling. Listen, you have pressing matters. And I have eternity.
Show off.
Deimos, could you give us 10 or so minutes? I'd like to speak with Vraco.
Yeah, by all means. I'll go and admire these big fucking flaming rocks. You're going to fill me in on all this, right?
There'll be plenty of time for stories. How long do you need to prepare the teleportation?
Oh, I can take me time, 10 minutes. Fuck it, be fine. Whenever you're ready, just shout.
I'll walk up to Vraco. I take it Cord could spare you a couple of minutes longer.
Cord can most certainly spare me the time.
Shall we walk a moment?
Absolutely, old friends.
I never thought I'd be speaking to you again. I hoped. So I'm glad.
I had the choice, and I made the right one. Allowed me to be here now.
I take it it's not permanent.
I am... Well, as Timiel says, the sword is an extension of his power. I am mere extension of Cord's power now. And with the gate sealing somewhat more now, it's going to be more of a struggle for him now, I imagine.
Well, it's just good that we're able to speak properly after how we parted this realm before. So, I hope we did you proud by what we did, and I hope you can forgive us for the same.
Dargon. Did everything that was necessary. You've always made the right decisions.
Well, if it wasn't for your
I regret
teachings,
nothing.
I wouldn't be here. Neither would the rest of us.
You've come a long way from the budding fighter I found in that strange little mining town.
Yeah, you found a shell of a man back there. You picked him up and put him on his feet. So
I'd wager he's had quite a part in that himself.
Well, quite possibly. It's good to see you.
I am only ever a mere whisper away.
So we can expect to see you at cards next week.
Perhaps not. But when you ascend, and I'm sure you all will, I'll have the deck ready.
Yeah. Like I said, when we met, been quite happy that'll be tomorrow. But you're going to have to wait for me with those cards. Wait a bit.
It's a party.
You better be. There better be trumpets for me.
Trumpets, thunderclaps, who knows?
Maybe I'll bring them. Of course, this may not be our decision, but are you able to come with us and see us to the end of this, or do you have to go now?
I've seen you as far as I need to. So this is where we part.
I'll give him that big clasp round the arm and then pull him in with a one-armed hug.
And he will let go of the arm and just embrace you fully.
Well done, Dargon. Well done. He's going to sort of push you back, hold you by the shoulders, look deep into your eyes. Lament not for the fallen. We've already achieved paradise.
Who would ever think we'd all see paradise, eh?
With a little faith.
With a little.
Oh, and listen. My brother.
Your
Give him some
brother.
gold, send him on his way, he'll be more than happy. Or find him a place. Either way, I have my eye on him now.
You think he could serve under a weirdo king with some coin?
Give him the right motivation.
The
And
gold
I'm
stuff,
sure
I
my
presume.
brother is capable of many things.
I'll keep it in mind. It's nice to have allies. For a
Indeed.
change.
You always had allies, Dargon. You just had to find them.
Very true.
Right. You have work to do.
We do.
Boys. It was a genuine pleasure and the utmost honor. And look after this kingdom. Kirik, look after them. And all who need her guidance.
I'll give him a little bow.
And with that, Vraco's just going to look to the sky even, and there's just going to be this storm cloud that appears.
Superhero exit, here it comes, boys.
And then lightning strikes, and as it strikes where Vraco stands, he's gone.
You go.
Timiel at this point is just going to have watched over this and... Always the flashy exits. I don't get it. Listen, boys. It's, well, as I say, my power is yours now, Dargon, but the rest of you, I feel honoured to have been a part of this story.
An absolute
Thank you.
pleasure.
And he is going to look up to the skies, and there's just going to be a golden ray of sunlight that shines through the dark clouds that had formed, through the streaking of meteors hitting the ground. And he's just going to flap his wings once and shoots into the sky.
Well, I don't know. It's pretty flashy. Kind of liked it.
Nathim's just going to sit there and be like, what? Just how do we... You just... Let's go, shall we? This is blowing my mind.
We've just learned to accept some weird shit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way that we've stayed as sane as we are, which is not very.
We've
Makes
pretty
sense.
much battered above our weight this whole time we've known each other.
I know a
Think
lot about
about it.
punching above my weight. You've seen my wife, right?
True. That is very true. You're an unfortunate looking man and your wife is rather attractive. I didn't
Shall
say
we,
that out loud, did I?
That's fine. No judgment. She is what she is.
She's also
um,
very scary. So, yeah.
Yes.
Don't tell her I
but,
said that. Because my wife,
Oh, no,
my
I'm-
wife to be will kill me.
Well,
I
you're
will,
also punching above your weight, aren't you, Ender?
No, because I am an absolute specimen. Yeah, I am. I'm totally punching above my weight. Yeah.
What does way have to do with the situation?
And Deimos, that is our cue.
I'm going to explain to him on the way, Deimos, if you would be so kind.
I sometimes wish that I had Kirik's view of the world and libido, because life would be so much simpler.
I imagine not half as much fun for you though, Andy.
Well, I would have a lot less stories to tell you over ale later, that's for sure.
No,
So I was out drinking.
I look forward to.
That's how they all start.
Right, Deimos, let's go. I'm fucking ready, are we now? Finished talking to angels and gods and shit.
Yeah. Are you finished talking to your friends?
What do you mean these two? Well, you finally noticed them, have I? Or three. One's back there somewhere doing something. Oh yeah.
It was kind of hard not to while we were in the what's it plane of the hither to not being here.
Oh yeah. I suppose that would have been a bit freaky. Oh well, yeah. Can't spend that long in death without making a few friends, I guess.
Sure.
It keeps you sane.
I'm sure Kirik understands that far more than we do.
Yeah.
Good stuff. With that, Deimos is just going to be like, oh, alright, just get fucking move on then. And opens his spell book, having cast the spell circle. And you'll see, for anybody that's paying close attention, he's got a very roughly scribbled note of a new spell circle in his spell book. And then speaks the words of the spell, and you are all teleported. And as light returns to your eyes, you find yourselves within the walls of the Black City for the first time. It's a rather desolate city. The streets are covered in sand, and all around the edges there are these tall, thick, black, obsidian, metal-like walls. You are on probably the second level of the city, if you like, as it goes up in height towards its centre. All around you, you can see burn marks, blood pools, and the signs of battle. And you see the defenders of River's End sort of seated, being treated by healers of Mantineer. There are a number of rough-looking individuals sort of being rounded up and either put in chains or moved into what looked like refugee camps, which have been spun up rather quickly. You then look towards the centre of the city, and you can see that there are these 12 cross-like or X-shaped mechanisms, and a number of them are empty, and you can see there's a couple of individuals lowering down the final one. And Deimos is just going to look to you all and say, I think that's where you best be going.
Quite right. And
Thank you, Deimos.
by your leave.
I'll be here if you need me. Just shout. Or don't shout, just come find me, message, all that sort of good stuff. I can get on with it.
As you were.
So the four of you, Bothrid included, begin to sprint up towards the centre of the city, and get higher and higher, and eventually reach the central keep, which is this giant black, malevolent-looking tower. You enter, and it's big, it's wide. You enter into the ground floor, where the doors have just been absolutely blasted apart, blasted inwards. There are the odd body here and there, with a civilian body, but also the occasional body of a defender, or one of the fighters and the forces. You see the odd Fey body as well. And then you find this spiral staircase, which is around the edge of the the edge of the inner chamber of this tower, there being a number of then rooms off the side, and this straight, almost tunnel-like centre to it. It goes all the way to the top, and you can see the spiral staircase that ascends all the way up. Quickly dash up this, and then reach a door where you can see a number of the healers of Mantineer have got stretchers laid out ready to get people, and You then see the leader of the healers of Mantinea, the one you had met in the Temple of the Everlight, in Mantinea themselves, who just turns and looks at you and says, "Well, you're all a sight for very sore eyes. I figured you'd probably be here sooner rather than later. There's a few folk that need to speak to you. Be gentle with them, they're not as strong as they once were." Out there. And you see now where you've gone up this spiral staircase and there's just this archway. It leads you out onto a rampart, which is sort of the final bastion wall of the inner keep. And there are a number of healers surrounding 4 different bodies, as others are now being brought down on stretchers and laid next to them. You see a half-orc, a tiefling, a large humanoid individual, and an elf, stripped of armour and possessions, in the barest of vestments, cloth dresses, or just cloth underwear that covers their modesty. And you see their bodies where they have been tortured, cut, burned, wounded. A number of the healers now working on these wounds. And you see the emaciated and damaged figures of the remaining Malt Masters and the Archdeacon of Court.
Did you say they were conscious or not?
You've not close enough yet to really see.
Oh God, look at him.
I knew it'd be bad, but I didn't think it'd be this bad.
I knew there was nothing we could do, but still. Let's go see how they are. So, walking up and getting nearby, can we see anything?
You see that they are all... Their eyes are open. And they are sort of taking shallow breaths, if you like.
Turn to the nearest healer. Are they okay? Conscious?
They are conscious, but there is only so much we can do.
I'm going to cast Eyes of the Grave.
Okay. As you cast Eyes of the Grave, you don't see any undead or fiends or anything of the sorts, but what you do see and feel is that presence of near death.
Yeah, they're hanging in the balance.
One foot in the river.
Could say so.
So, sorry, which one of them? Who's there again? We've got the arch.
You see the
Deacon?
bodies of the distiller,
Yeah.
the blender, the cooper, and the Archdeacon of Court. The new Stillman is, of course, Mephisto,
Yeah.
who was in the battle himself.
I will go up and kneel next to the Cooper.
And eyes sort of are there fluttering, and his head turns towards you. Doggone,
Cooper,
dear boy.
you've...
Is it done?
It's done. It is done.
Awesome. I don't suppose you Have any whiskey on you, do you?
Word, do you really have to ask that? And I will get out the little bit of whiskey that I still have. I do believe it might well be the last little bite of the stuff he gave me. And I will hand it to him, or help him drink it.
He sort of lifts his neck and his head up as you help him, and you just pour it in, and he sort of takes a sip and then... Well, I always thought it was that would kill me.
Don't be daft. We'll get you all well again.
Maybe. I sense by... and he points a weak hand towards Kirik. His face, it's, not good.
We've been through worse. We all come back.
There's a distinct difference between you and us.
Nonsense. Save your breath, save your energy. We'll look after you all.
He's gonna take that weak hand and just place it on yours, and he looks at you. It was always going to come to this. The age of champions is long, long over.
Rest now. I'll
Cooper's
clasp his
gonna-
other hand in my two hands. One on top of it, one above, one below.
And he's gonna look at you. We chose well.
Show off.
And there's a smile as his eyes just slowly close. And his hand goes limp.
Kirik. Look after him.
Do. Could I go to the distiller?
You can.
She was there, wasn't she? Yeah.
She was. Her body is very thin, almost skeletal in nature now. Even for an elf. Thinner than she should be. You see great wounds across her arms and her neck. But still the keen intellect behind the eyes that are fading. She looks at you and... Hello, Ander.
It's good to see you, albeit in the circumstances. I just wanted you to know that Ayun was with me.
It's good to see my crown. Albeit new, changed.
It has served more. It's done you proud and me proud. It's been a key instrument in our victory. I just wanted you to know you were key in our victory.
We were merely the Wardens, I guess. Keeping this land together. Ready for you.
If I'm to be honest with you for a second, I'd prefer it if you didn't die. I've got plans I want to discuss for you for the after, forever after. I need your counsel.
One way or another, the passing of the torch means that our time is done. I have lived for millennia. It's time I rested.
That's more than fair. And I will give her a kiss on the forehead and just hold her hand then.
As you place that kiss on her forehead, she closes her eyes and smiles. Be kind to your people, King Ander.
Not gonna lie, Matt, I wasn't ready for the deaths. I thought it was going to be happy ever after.
Can't get out of a fight that big unscathed, unfortunately. Bothrid is knelt next to the body of the blender. And you can hear them conversing in whispered tones, but in a language beyond all of you. And she is just going to reach up to the side of Bothrid's face very weakly and shakily, and just runs a finger down the side of his face as her hand then falls, and where her hand traces, just this small vine appears and a flower blooms. And Bothrid's just going to let her hand go and then takes the flower in his hand. His tears stream from his eyes and he just blows towards it. And it sprouts into more flowers that he lays atop her, and you see Lilith come running up. And she just falls atop her mother's body and weeps. Bothrid then shakily takes his hand and places it on Lilith's back. The gentlest of moments for a individual who has, for most of his life, dealt with nothing but violence.
Is it only Mephisto left?
Archdeacon.
Archdeacon.
Mephisto is
of course
not
in the
amongst
back.
this group.
Yeah. I'll move up to the Archdeacon.
You can see his eyes, where they once glowed with almost lightning blue, are now faded, icy blue eyes. Cleric.
It's me. You,
It's done then.
It is, yes. We finished him. We had help. Draco was there.
True champion of God.
You strike me as the individual that has fought for most of his life. You also strike me as an individual that knows what awaits him, or at least hopes. And that's all we can do, is hope to know what comes. But you don't need to fight this. You can go in peace, knowing that the work is done. And that you had a role in it.
Gonna take a big, shaky breath. You speak with the wisdom of the matron. Champion. Thank you.
There's no need.
I am ready now, my lord. It is done. As the Archdeacon passes, you see sort of and hear sighs and gasps all around you as 12 bodies lay on the ramparts. As you look over, some you recognise. A mute smith, dwarven smith, from the town of Seameat. A priest or shaman-like individual who you'd only ever seen in the briefest moments as you wandered the village of Eastvale. And other individuals you do not recognise, but as they all pass, there is just this golden-like dust effect as the wind picks up and the bodies just fade, and on the wind this stream of golden dust that just weaves its way up into the sky, where the sun shines bright and fierce.
Throughout all of that, Dargan will have taken his helmet off, placed it in front of him, kneeling, sword out over his knee.
And then I would, you know when you stand next to somebody and you sneakily grab their hand for support, I'll do that to Kirik, and I'll like to say like quietly between ourselves, she'll look after them, won't she?
Yeah. She looks after all of them. And I'll squeeze his hand slightly.
As you all watch this dust stream sort of fade away, and you look down upon the Black City, you see the effects of the battle, but then you start to see familiar faces. A centaur stood next to a seated woman with brunette hair flowing behind her, purple armour splattered with blood, a rather malevolent looking sword laid next to her. They both have wooden cups filled with whatever liquid, and they smile and just clink to each other and look, take a moment, sip. And you see as Neothim sees Thailania and just runs, and the two of them embrace. As Mephisto watches on, and then Johannes sort of walks up around and just places a hand on Mephisto's back, sort of pats a couple of times and nods. You see the crew of the Winter's Tale as the great airship streaks across, and ropes are thrown down, and the whole crew, Gore, Brelin, all of them descend these ropes down to the ground and start to help rebuild and move people around. And you've seen Lena and Micaiah, both of them unscathed, looking around. And then a small dwarf comes hobbling through.
Yes.
With a cracked helmet and a cut down the centre of his face. And you hear, or sort of see him look up to you. You bastards are late!
Yeah, you look like you were handling it well.
I knew you'd be too stubborn to die.
Aye, the fuckers won't get me. Not anytime soon. Look. And he sort of indicates towards the sky. And in that moment, this silver streak that ruffles the wind, or ruffles the air around you, even ruffles your hair and kicks up dust. And you see a silver draconic form just barrel roll around this great dust stream in the air. And a roar as Gindris, the silver mystery, streaks off into the distance.
Now that one isn't an illusion.
In the days that follow, the Black City is claimed under the crown of Esamir, under the Splinterthorn name. And you address the people, the thieves, the bandits, the unsavoury folk that make up this city, those that remain. What is it you wish to say to them?
Although you have gone down a dark path, as I once walked, there's always the chance of redemption for you. And you can choose to do that in life, now, or in death. I intend to set up a rehabilitation program for all of you rogues, vagabonds, all of you who use your dark forces. I want you to put them to use for good, for the greater good of Nialin and the rest of the world.
Greater good.
Greater God. If you want to set yourselves on the path of the redemption, feel free to join me. If you want to carry on in your ways, your only redemption is death.
There's silence for a number of minutes, and then you hear a voice shout from the back, "How much did it pay?"
A great question from the back. That's a very great question.
You fucking didn't. You didn't.
The only good work, there's two types of good work, one for purpose and one for gold. I intend to give you both.
I wouldn't mind being a fish merchant.
I'll tell you what, Nialin always needs fresh fish. And if you can provide fresh fish, you'll have gold for life.
I'm in.
Give a man a fish.
Teach a man to fish.
One by one, the majority of people, in fact all there, look around and think, maybe it's time for an honest day's work. They've seen what living in a city run by folks you don't understand and hidden away from the general populace, have seen what that does.
What does the Black City now look like? And is it... Do we no longer have cloud cover over it? Have we got a bit of sun on it?
The cloud cover, as you notice over the days that follow the battle, where it had already begun to spread out, you notice that it had pretty much gone in that moment that the soul was freed. And from the towers of the Black City, where previously it had been described as beyond the Mesas nothing but fog, you can now see a world beyond.
So are we now looking at
And
sort of
untouched by Nialin feet. A long time.
the Black City is now sort of a dark stone gothic thing instead of the evil thing we believed.
Absolutely. It is a just dark stone walled city. There are still the signs everywhere for whorehouses, thieves' dens, gambling dens. But even now you can see people sort of knocking down those signs, putting up new tavern signs, or starting new businesses.
No wrong with gambling and whoring. Maybe the thieves' dens need to. You might have to think about them, but
And
prostitution is legal in Nialin, just for set the record straight.
who's you going to leave in charge of the Black City? Needs to be someone
Well,
we all trust.
Ironically, I think they'll have to choose their own elected official, but I was going to re-establish Maltmaster's Keep as a trading post, as a trade route.
Okay.
And I was going to leave the Maltmasters as the Wardens of the West, given there's only one left, Mephisto. I'm thinking he would oversee the western part of Nialin as Warden.
Yeah.
And then you'd probably
Let's
just
get
have like
you
a
crowned
mayor or
officially
like-
first before you start making decisions, boy.
How many times do I officially have to be crowned?
Well, we've unofficially stuck that piece of metal on your head, but more to be done.
True.
More days pass. You head back to Esamir. You stop by Deluin and by River's End, where the cities are now free. People have begun to return to homes,
The undead,
begun to rebuild.
that cloud.
Gone. No sign of them in the city.
Okay. And any sign in our path of... Was it Stillman? Who did you say it was? The one with the sword?
Stillman?
Was Stillman, yeah. So, and
You
that
haven't
was
seen him.
Last time we saw him was in River's End? Yes? Fighting us?
You saw him in River's End fighting you.
Yes.
But yeah, you don't
Okay.
see any trace of him.
Okay. So yeah, if we manage to help Lena recover both of those.
As you get to Deluin, Lena actually walks straight into the Deluin Keep, the throne room, and she is going to take one look at Ander. I'm going to take this as a promise kept. And she's going to march straight up to the throne of Deluin and sit on it even. Take her seat.
And I will give her a courteous bow and say, "Of course, Lady of the Twin Cities."
Then I will stay here for a time. And Micaiah, if you will, back to River's End. We have 2 cities to manage now. We will unite under a single banner, not the banner of River's End, but a new one.
And you must also consider yourself my Warden of the South.
Promise kept. And as my promise to you, Ander, the treasure room is yours.
Yes. We'll come in handy to rebuild all of Nialin.
And indeed, when you go and finally look in the treasure room itself, it is a grand room, huge room. There are shelves of chests filled with gold.
Oh, we just need a session of me opening all of them and hoping none of them are mimics.
Enough gold to properly start a new kingdom.
I can just imagine that Ander did a little skip as he went towards the treasury room.
I can imagine Ander got an absolute erection when he walked into that room.
He ejaculated 4 times.
Clean up on aisle me.
Excellent. So the gold is transported back to Wesemere. You escort Micaiah and the rest of the defenders back to River's End, and then you make your way north. People gasp and are shocked at the state of the outskirts of Telma, where a temple just about still stands, beginning to fade, if I remember rightly on that spell.
Correct.
Which is the one that makes a permanent one.
I have to cast it so many times.
Yep.
Is there anything you wish to do in this moment, Kirik? No?
Yeah, not right now, I don't think. I think
Okay.
I think we crown Ander first.
So you take stock of the battlefield. Look to the skies once again where your allies and friends have withdrawn. Excuse me. And you make your way back to Wesemere. A grand coven of wizards stand along the banks of Wesemere as you arrive. An ethereal stands right at the edge of where a bridge once stood. And he's just going to look towards you all.
Well, if you think I'm having my mages teleport you in and out of this godforsaken city every 2 damn minutes, you've got another thing coming. So consider this a gift, Ander. Now.
And under the combined power of at least 30 to 40 mages, a bridge begins to form out of magic. Stones begin to rise from the depths of the lock, and slowly but surely a great stone, granite, marble bridge forms. And for those that were part of it, it is very reminiscent of a dream that was had, where a body was carried, a king was carried, and a bridge fell. And as it's completed, Ethereal just looks and says,
Well, that went about as well as it could have done.
Well, I didn't know you had bridge building in your repertoire.
Well, one can do all sorts of fantastic things with magic.
Thank you, Grand Arcanum, and I'll give him a handshake, hug. And as gratitude, I would like to bestow you another title.
Oh, giving out titles, are we now?
Why not? As promises kept to you, in return for the help you've given me, I also want to make you Warden of the East, so you can keep an eye on Idril, Edicus, and just look after that part of Nialin for me, give me counsel, be part of my court.
Aye, well, for a time, while the new Prime Arcanum is chosen,
The new
it's
one.
about time this old fart found some joy in retirement.
Oh yeah, well okay. yeah, by all means.
Okay.
Deserve it. You do look a bit haggard.
You also look like shit, and don't worry.
I've died too many times. It starts to wear on you after a while.
Oh well. I suppose it's only real death if it's permanent.
True. I like to think that I've just
Very
redeemed
well.
myself several times rather than died several times.
Just had a gentle stroll down the river.
Exactly.
Anyway, my king, your city awaits.
I'm still not used to you being nice to me, but I'll give him a little courteous bow too.
Well, piss me off quick enough, I'm sure it'll end soon.
I'll leave now before I say something I shouldn't.
Probably for the best.
And you march down the bridge, accompanied by soldiers of Mantineer, healers of Mantineer, soldiers of the Maltmaster's Keep, and whatever remains of the forces of Nialin.
Am I skipping in with like a bag of gold? That's a swag on it, just like...
That's all being carried behind you on sort of, either it's being teleported in the great airship, which you see has already arrived, or there's caravans full of gold that have been sprung up in the days and sort of almost a week since the battle and since the reclamation of Nialin. As you enter through the newly reformed gates of Esamir, you get a true royal fanfare as a number of trumpeters line the battlements on the outside, and for those people that have already arrived into Esamir, cheers ring out, and you hear shouts of "The champions of Nialin! Long live King Ander!" Banners are hung all over the city. And as you take stock in this moment of people and a kingdom, you are rugby tackled to the ground. Make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Hopefully it's Mirabelle.
Evasion!
Patient.
I rolled a 16.
16. Okay. As you are rugby tackled to the ground, you realise that Mirabelle has sort of charged at you and jumped on you and brought you into a hug. And with your dexterity save of 16, you sort of go with it and then place a hand behind you and just gently lower the both of you down to the ground, where you now just sort of sit with her straddled across your lap, just looking deep into your eyes, and in your brain you hear, "Thank fuck for that."
Was there ever any doubt? And I'll lay a Frenchie
And she's gonna before you lay a Frenchie on it, she sees you go to kiss her and she just no more dying.
How do you know? I haven't even told you
There are no
anything.
secrets. I know secrets now. You can't keep anything from me.
Oh. Oh. Does that mean you know about all of my weird kinks? Never mind. I told you I'd come back.
Are they weird?
Not if you say yes.
And then she will French kiss you.
Oh.
So glad.
And
that
again,
all-
the
all happened
trumpets
in
sound
their
out.
I like to think the crowd is like, come on! Wah! And cheering us
There are
on.
cheers that ring out again, and sort of people bring these garlands of flowers that they sort of lay across your necks, and there are people just there wanting to be present as the champions of Nialin return to Esamir. And you would see a familiar green female figure looking almost like a summer's day, who just stands there and smiles. And a whisper on the wind, "Well done, King Ander. Time for me to go home."
I will reply with, I couldn't have done it without you. I'll see you soon.
I look forward to it. She disappears into the crowd. You are ushered on to the keep, where you are met by Annabelle, Remley, and your court bard, who's just gonna be there with his lute and a piece of paper and just goes, well, I think that worked out for the better.
Did you compose and organise all of this?
Composed it, found a few people that can actually play the instrument you need, and, well, Annabelle paid him, so. Thank you. It's nice for your work to be appreciated. Well, my king, I think it's time for you lot to rest up, and apparently there's a coronation tomorrow.
Oh, I best get my beauty sleep.
Absolutely.
Best look my best.
And so you're all ushered in, and despite you needing to rest and bathe and all those sorts of things, there is still a somewhat small feast that is held for you on the eve of your coronation, which has all been organised. Annabelle has been there, and just between her and Mirabelle, they've planned the whole thing out, with the excuse of, well, we needed something to take our minds off you potentially dying, and me being out of a job, so... And there's a small feast with your closest allies. Bothrid's there, Johannes, Remley, Nathim, Thalania, Mephisto, the crew of the Winter's Tale, Annabelle, Mirabelle, Captain Thorold of Moonbright is there as well. And you'll eat, you'll drink, you'll have a very good time before you retreat off to bed to await the morning, where a rogue escaped from the clutches of a once malevolent Eladrin will become king. I think that is where we are going to take a short break, and then we will come back for the second half.
See you in a minute.
So everybody go get a drink, enjoys yourself, and we'll see you when we get back. Hello.
Hello.
As somebody falls over in the background somewhere. So, there we go. Anyway, welcome back. I made a bit of a boo at the start. I forgot to warn people that it's going to be adult language and adult humour, so consider yourselves warned, people, an hour and a half in. If you didn't know that by now on Modern Magic, yeah, too fucking late. Anyway, cool. So, getting back into it. Following the feast, where most people just sort of take a moment to be with each other, you all retreat to your rooms, which are all now fully prepared. You each have your own bedroom, fully furnished. Seems like mages have been at work. Annabelle and Mirabelle, in the days and the weeks that had followed the battle, had made sure that the castle, the keep itself, was ready to go. And you wake the next morning to find Mirabelle being dressed by her sister. Annabelle's just going to look to you and, don't mind me, there are important things to be done. Your outfit is there. Put it on properly. Don't make a mess of it. Important day.
I think we all know who's really in charge around here. I'll do as I'm told.
Every powerful man is a woman rolling her eyes.
I've got two
Mirabelle
women rolling.
Mirabelle will speak into your mind and just say, just go along with her. She doesn't get to do this sort of stuff often. And then you hear her sort of take a sharp intake of breath in her mind and in your mind as a corset gets tied very tightly.
And I will hurriedly dress myself before Mirabelle offers to do it and strangles me with whatever garments I've got laid out on the bed.
Women in London must have learnt not to breathe.
No, very pride and prejudiced.
You find each of you that you have been... Yeah, sorry, Kirik, you're on mute.
I was just saying, Dave, that was an amazing reference.
I thank you all. I
It was an amazing
hope someone gets it. You know, if I can nick it from another streamer, name it. You've got to put it in chat now.
I know it. Anyway, each of you have outfits laid out. Dargon, you find a kilt of gold, white, and grey pattern. Your armour has been polished. Chest armour has been polished even brighter, so it still radiates. You see the scabbard of Timiel's Wrath has been repaired, and almost like either a varnish or a seeing the note in the chat there, which is amazing. A varnish or a leather treatment has been placed into the scabbard to make it look brand new. Timiel's Wrath always appears pristine, but even she next to all of this armour looks good, so your boots have been polished. And then you find a cape of yellowish golden silk, on the back of which is embroidered in the symbol of a sun backed by these two great angelic wings. And a note on top of the cape, which in Annabelle's hand reads, "Don't know if your family ever had a symbol where they are from, but I've already had it noted in a new book that we are having commissioned that this is your crest. I found it up on the rampart where you were stood, and it was fitting. Wear it well. Annabelle."
A big smile on Dargon's face. He would also dress himself in the kilt, dress himself in the cape, with all of that. He would put probably the chest piece on of the armour and hope that there's enough fabric garments just to cover it. It's just it doesn't want to look too over the top. Wouldn't have any of the gauntlets or the helmet, anything on. It's just this is now ceremonial.
And you find it's almost like the armour listens to your internal monologue as the radiant light just decreases. Kirik, you find black and purple garments that complement your green skin perfectly and your purple hair. You find more leather attire and almost more robe in nature, befitting of a cleric of the Raven Queen. You too find a cape made of pure black silk, and on the back a symbol of a white mask. And a note, again from Annabelle. Didn't have to think hard about this one. She's always watching over you.
Yeah.
Anyway, wear it with pride. You've done her proud after all. Annabelle. As the two of you exit your rooms, you find Bothrid stood there in the finest clothes Bothrid has ever worn. You see that his matted hair has been brushed somewhat, it's like Hagrid. His beard has been trimmed, and he's just going to look at you. Look at these clothes. I'm not sure I like this.
Please tell me he's pulling the wedgie out of his arse.
He's just sort of there, sort of pulling it. And what you see now is that the Chimera's cloak is still there, but the lion's head has been, rather than it being a hood, is now been turned over on the back and forms a cape around him. And rather than a symbol being embroidered on the back, there is a small brooch which forms a wreath, and then there's a shepherd's crook that dangles down. I thought this was a nice touch, though.
Very nice touch.
Very nice.
You look
They
resplendent.
polished my javelin too.
Right,
And I mean, they polished the actual javelin, nothing else. It's a good thing Anders not here.
Remley will then find the three of you.
Aye, well, aren't you all very pretty? Come on, you've got seats of honour. You best be taking them soon.
And he leads you out into the keep, into the main throne room, where you see it is full of people already. You see the main dignitaries from across Nialin, those that survived, those that remain are all there. You can see all of your friends and all of your allies, and then it is open out to the rest of the nation. There are people filling this city. And as you put your clothes on, there is black leather, the majority of it. But there are royal blue lines that run through it, and seams that very much match the Dioun stone that seats within your crown. The crown itself, nowhere to be seen. The cape you are gifted is more of an undercape. As Annabelle looks at you and says, I didn't know if the Fae were going to want that back, but this I figured you could always wear underneath it or on its own, depending on what you wanted to do. It's well, it's what I could do in the time I had. It's royal blue, and it's got your family crest on the back. So that wherever you go, you take them with you.
It's perfect.
Thank you. I'm glad. Now, you two. Today is more than just a coronation. I've been presumptuous, as I always am. And I figured you two might also want to get married today.
Well, as Mirabelle knows, we have no secrets between us, as much as I may try to keep them. So she must already know I was going to propose and we were going to get married. So why not have a double celebration today?
Whew. Well, that's a relief. We can keep the cake. So, first things first, let's get you two married. Second thing, let's get you two crowned. If you follow me, then. And she'll just loudly go, and Remley will walk in.
Aye, well, if you'll have me, my lord, I will lead you out to the people.
Lead the way, Remley.
Very well. Let's hope these bards are in order. Right.
And he brings himself up to his full height, which is about 3'6".
On my lead, then.
And he walks forward. And he takes almost this slow march that Annabelle then matches. And Mirabelle is then just going to loop her arm in yours. And in your mind, together then.
Always together.
You are led out of your room, out into what was the war room. And you see the tables have long been cleared out. Instead, now this has formed more of a dining room. There are great curtains that have been hung, which separate this dining room from the throne room itself. And as they part slightly and Remley steps forward, a fanfare rings out. And we continue to march forward. To great cheers.
Nice.
I was just going to let that sink in for a
I
moment.
feel like,
Cheers
I feel
ring
like I'm
out in the hall.
Zelda or something.
People stand and applaud. As you are led out to the front of 2 thrones now that sit in the centre of the room. And Remley stands before a small, I forget what they're called now, the word totally escapes me, pulpit sort of thing. And just sort of then goes very loudly, and his voice does ring out throughout the hall. Aye, well, we're all gathered today not just to crown our new king, but to join king and queen in marriage. Now I would love to marry these two, but let's be fair, I'm not the most couth of individuals. So, Cleric, I wonder if you would do the honours.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh boy.
He's secretly been preparing for this. He's got a speech and everything.
He really doesn't.
I am going to totally leave this moment up to you because I've deliberately put you on the spot. If you wish to roleplay out...
and giving and having and doing and receiving.
I'm going to let you roleplay this out if you wish. If not, we can tell the story and move on. Cool.
I have never met an individual that managed to dedicate so much to something so in reach. I understand dedication, but to something, well, something external to oneself. To have what Mirabelle and Ander have is something that I don't share, but I can understand. And I think dedication to something alive is perhaps even more important. So, and then go through the process of marrying these two.
And as Kirik reads out and recites almost perfectly a marriage ceremony that he's never had to deliver before, but just in his studies and everything he's done before knows through and through. A golden ribbon is wrapped around the hands of Ander and Mirabelle. And Kirik.
I will cast ceremony marriage. There you go.
Because I saw the cogs just go, clink, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
And so as the ribbon wraps
24 hours that both of you have an extra 1 AC.
Well, you're going to need it for the, for the first night.
Well, yeah, because my head's
there is
going to be banging against that headboard. When she wants to peg me later.
Oh, crikey, moment.
It is only whilst the both of you are within 60 feet of each other, so I don't know what weird stuff you're going to
I thought I was going to say of you. I was like,
I was going to say, if you have to be in the next room or something, jeez.
No.
So yes, as that golden ribbon is wrapped around your wrists and around your hands, and you join together and say vows to each other, Kirik casts the spell, and there is this moment where the golden ribbon turns to this ethereal golden thread that wraps around your hands and then disappears.
The vows are awkward for everyone else because they just did mine and Mirabelle's head, so it's just awkward silence for everyone else.
Everybody just sort of stands there and they're a bit like, do we know what's going on right now? Are they doing stuff? Somebody said something about vows, I don't know. And just...
It's the two of you looking really intensively into each other's eyes for like 5 minutes.
And then one of you cries.
There's a moment. There's a moment where Remley just looks towards the crowd and you just hear him go, silence.
Oh, that would be the most.
And the
awkward
ceremony
wedding
is
ever.
complete.
Oh my God.
As Remley then turns and says, "Thank you, Kirik." Well, somehow loses his shit.
He's gone.
That was-
He's gone.
Beautifully done.
Oh man,
Now,
I'm happy
to
crying now.
equally important matters. Get it together, you two. Fucking hell. Long has Esamir been beneath a lock. Long has Nialin stood apart from the world. Eons, generations, ages almost. Those who had lived to see it have passed on. But in doing so, they have prepared and trained a king and his advisors to lead Nialin into a new age. A new age of prosperity. Stop it. A new age of prosperity. A new age of kindness, I hope. And so, Ethereal, as you have a hand in making this, I would like you to do the honors as we crown King Ander of Esamir. Ander, please take the throne.
I'll take a seat with Mirabelle next to me.
As Ander sits, Ethereal comes up, and behind him you see Deimos and another mage carrying two sort of plush cushions, and on top of one is the crown of Ioun. That's what I'm now calling it, which is that combination of the crown of Geth and the Ioun diadem tiara, if you like, combined. But there is also a new silver circlet placed on that second cushion. And Ethereal's just going to take the first one, the crown of Ioun, and he lifts it to the sky. Ander Splinterthorn. I'm speaking in Remley's voice. Ander Splinterthorn. Do you... I'm still doing Remley's voice. Fuck it. Give me a moment. Role-playing too many fucking characters tonight.
Do you promise to watch over this land, guard it with honor, rule with a stern but kind hand, until your days are through?
I do.
Then, in the witness of all here present, I crown you King of Esamir, King of Nialin, all its wards and lands, protector of the realm.
He places the throne on your head.
The throne on my head, fucking hell. I'll be dead.
Crown. Places the crown on your head. I've got a lot to remember, man.
Recovered from the vows,
Give him
man.
the chair. Fuck's sake.
And then as he places the crown on my head, I will stand up and give out the best for Nialin I've ever screamed in my life.
And the whole crowd cheers, and there is a return of "For Nialin!" Ethereal then moves on.
Mirabelle Splinterthorn. Although your voice was taken from you long ago, I know you will, by your husband's side, rule alongside him, guide him, warn him, advise him, rule for him, half the time I imagine. But still, I know you will make a fitting queen by his side. Do you accept the task that has been laid out before you?
and in everybody's heads, as Mirabelle's eyes flash purple, I accept this and all charges. I will stay by his side until my days are through. Yes.
And in doing so, I name you Queen Mirabelle. Queen Consort of Nialin, of Esamir, of the wards and nations. Long may you both reign.
And there is then just a shout out of, "Long may they reign!" There is a moment where everybody cheers and fanfares blare out, and then Remley steps up, and he's going to step up to the pulpit again.
Aye, well now that's done. Shall we just go get pissed?
I heard that.
And the Dargon's like, "Yeah!"
Out the way!
And you notice people begin to quite quickly sort of exit out into the city, where a number of tables have from somewhere been brought. There are barrels of ale, there are meats, there is a grand feast laid on, and everybody reveres. And there is a moment where some of the mages, some of the clerics that are here, take time to show you under Kirik, Dargon, Bothrid, the different cities across Nialin, where each have had a mage using great mirrors to show the coronation through scrying-like spells. And in each of the cities, there is feasts, there are celebrations, and you see banners, not just of the Splinterthorn household, but banners of the matron, banners of the Thunderhand clan, or the Nalakutha clan, I should say, tribe, banners of the Wild Mother. And so everybody has a very good time. It's absolutely shit-faced drunk. And following that, your life as king begins, Ander. Another day, week, couple of weeks passes, and then there is a difficult trip for you all. As you return to Glen Tuag and the Maltmaster's Keep to bury and celebrate the lives of the Maltmasters. Each one entombed within the crypts of the keep itself, in the tunnels that led to the great teleportation chamber. And each one, as they are interred even, placed beneath a stone which describes their names, their stations, and also the fact that they were champions of Ioun, or champion of Ioun, champion of Bahamut, and champion of Melora. Following the funerals, Mephisto greets you all.
Well, it's a rough day. But I think I can see to this place if that's what you wish, Ander.
Of course.
I have a trade empire to rebuild, of course.
And don't forget your duties as Warden of the West.
I will see to the Black City as well. We will make it something of a entry point into Nialin. It's sitting furthest west and reaching out into Enoweth beyond. It's going to be something of the first bastion of your defense. It will be a shining light in your kingdom rather than a dark smudge on the history.
And as for this place, I think myself and Lilith will take care of it. She wishes to
Would
remain.
you always have the
I am
king's
Lilith.
ear? And his purse, probably, more often than not.
I was hoping you would say coin. It's exactly what I need. But yes, should you need anything, you know where I am. The forces here, of course, will always be yours. I have already seen fit to send the villagers of Greenflower home. They are well on their way. The sea is now being calm, as I'm told. The way to the east is open. So yes, I suppose that's it really, but thank you for this honour, I should say, and well, I will make sure that the magical menagerie of Mephisto carries the royal seal wherever we ply our trade.
He'll be one of the jewels in the crown of Nialin for the rest of Inuith.
Indeed. And beyond. It's one continent. Let's see if we can go multi-continental, shall we?
Steve Jobs over here.
And so what was a solemn affair turns into another celebratory dinner and passing time with friends. And you return back to Esamir. And each of you now turns to your own individual tasks. For the next year, you each spend time reflecting on what has happened, but also moving into the next phase of your lives. So Kirik, you go to Telma first. What is it you wish to do?
I am going to spend the year casting the same spell every day. In the field where we fought Asmodeus, I will be casting Temple of the Gods every day for a year. And during that time, also, I will be working, like, relearning my skills as a smith back in the day, and I will make statues of all the ones that were present in that fight. Yeah, so that will be my year. Will be that.
And slowly but surely, other clerics, paladins, students of the matron find their way to what is a grand temple of the Raven Queen, and aid you in building a temple that she would be proud of. Dargon, you are the first to set foot beyond the borders of Nialin.
I mean, before I did. What did we send envoys out of Nialin to reconnect? Did we have people try and come in?
There will have been envoys sent out, and I was going to come to this slightly later, but there will be moments over the year where Anda has to deal with tensions of a returned kingdom, a united nation that now forms the easternmost part of the continent of Inuith. And and holds a great power within the continent.
Cool. So, knowing that we have made that connection, yeah?
You head west.
I do head west.
Far west. Beyond the continent of Enoeth itself. Out to the Oblivion Isles. And to a mountain range. Chartering boats, caravans. You join a familiar tabaxi caravan at one part of your journey, which carries you across the majority of Enoeth. And slowly but surely, eventually you reach your tribal homeland.
So Dargon goes to find the village, the fateful village at the bottom of the mountain. And hopefully with enough rags, with enough clothing underneath, would probably have covered what he wears to just look fairly normal. As normal as he can do, I suppose. But as he does, he'll wander through and see if there's any signs that he notices anyone, but otherwise would make his long trek up to the mountain. And he'll walk up.
And in the villages around sort of the bottom, there are people there. They've rebuilt in the many years that it's been. And you head up.
Walk up what seems like a dream now. This path up to a village at the top of a mountain. As he's walking up, he's looking around, just remembering it all. What does he see when he gets to the top of the mountain?
You see a small number of Goliaths. The survivors. And a temple that has been somewhat rebuilt. The Goliaths that greets you in nervousness, trepidation, but seeing you are also a Goliath and seeing something reminiscent in you, they don't extend a violent hand. Instead, question you, query you as to who you are and what you're doing here.
The name's Dargon. Dargon Nalakutha.
Dargon. There is writing of you in the temple, and somebody's in there waiting for you.
Thank you. May I?
Of course. Once a Nalakutha, always a Nalakutha.
As I do, I'll kind of imagine I've covered myself up quite well. So I'll take a few of the garments off, maybe one round my head and neck off. Just a few more to stop being as hidden. As I will see the temple and think of the fact that that was the last place I saw them. And I'll wander in.
And as you wander in, you see it's not exactly the same as it was. Still some work to be done to restore it. But the beginnings are there.
Do I see the
Books have been returned.
Do I see the reminiscence of the symbol that I now quite well know?
There has been a roughly carved symbol out of rock. And next to that rock is a purplish spectral figure. Spectral figure of one Kirik Gravetusk.
Well, what's this then?
I thought I'd find you here.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, something new. Trying it out. It's a. I'm here, but I'm not here. It's a projection.
You look good.
Of. Thank you. Yeah, it's. Can't really change your appearance, but you keep going. I hope I'm not spoiling the moment. And just.
Not at all. To be honest. Glad for a friend.
Just wanted to let you know that I've learned some things since we last met. I've gathered some knowledge, and I can bring them back if you want. But the choice is yours and ultimately theirs.
Holy shit.
Wow. Kiri, you've got to understand, the last time someone said that to me, well, you know who it was.
Yeah.
They even did it in this village, for want of a better way of saying it. So, I don't really know. Well,
You don't have to decide today. You have about 90 years to choose.
oh, well, awfully specific. What? Wow. Kiri, thank you. I mean, this is such a surprise. So, okay. Oh, as you say, I mean, my answer wants to be yes. Just give me a few days. Are you gonna be here? Do I? What? I mean, this is a lot.
Of course. I can make my way to you. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure Ander will. I'm sure Ander can ask some of the mages or order. He's been pretty good.
Yeah. Then give me a few days here, and then yeah, come on through, come on by.
I'll give you a few days, and then once I get there, once we see each other again, you can say whether or not you're ready. It's a big choice. So, but I didn't want the moment to pass without you knowing that it's a possibility.
You picked the right moment, because I was coming here to... Yeah, good timing. I thought I was just coming here to, seal it all off and finish, but this may be better. I'll see you soon.
See you soon. And I will dispel the astral projection.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Kirik's form dissipates.
So,
Dargon, in the next few days,
yeah,
you are going to...
Gonna check out the temple.
Panic.
Yeah. Probably spend most of the time in the temple. And to confirm, it is a temple for Serenray?
Yes, it is a temple of the Everlight.
Yes.
So you see out of that roughly carved stone, there is the symbol of a female figure and these great wings. Are you going to spend the next couple of days rebuilding parts of this temple where you can, trying to restore it to somewhat of its former glory?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Bringing out the old, very old tools of his trade to rebuild.
And through the strength of your body, the strength of your will, the tools that you have, and between you and some of the other Goliaths, you begin to restore this temple and clear out some more of the rubble that was there.
I don't specifically tell anyone there. Like, I don't go and seek any of them, but if they come and help, and they ask, Dargon does divulge any truths, anything that they ask him. Who he is, what's happened.
And there is one young Goliath who takes great interest in you and sort of asks about you, your journey, where you've been, why people refer to you as the lost father of the tribe. And you explain what had happened here, why you are here to rebuild the temple. And the kid just, over the few days, just looks at you more in awe every day. You are welcomed back into the tribe with open arms. And on the third day, there is and a half-orc arrives, just on the outskirts of the village. You see Kirik Gravedusk approach.
At this point, the armor that's the full regalia that I did bring with me, even if I wasn't like wearing it, is now pride of place in the center of the temple. I'm just wearing the kilt and a very simple shirt. Oh, Kirik. Welcome to my home.
Looks nice. It's a lot colder once I'm here in person, but...
Yes, sorry, yeah, of course it is. I should have told you to wrap up warm. I apologise. It's been a while.
I did cast some protection, but still, I can still feel it.
Yeah. Maybe let Ander know if he's coming.
That's true.
He may well be busy.
I did have an interesting conversation with him I had to ask for 50,000 gold pieces out of the pot, but that was
Denied.
a little bit of charm person always worked.
I've had, do you know, I've had a few days to think about what you said, and as long as it's not, forgive me, my words fail me, but as long as it's not perverted in the eyes of the gods, it would give me no greater pleasure than to live out my days with my family again. Fully expecting that I was going to live a long life to see him again. That I wouldn't say no.
I think if the journey I had with the three of you has taught me anything, is that whilst death is where we all end up, the journey until then should be as pleasurable and fulfilling as possible. And I think you've had enough pain for a life or two. So it's my small gift. And as for the eyes of the gods, if she doesn't want it to happen, then I will not have the power to do it. So,
Well, that's a good point. Where, how, what do you need from me?
I need names, and I need a place where you want it to happen. And I need to know who you want first. I can only do this once a day, so it'll take 2 days to do the two of them.
Oh, I think the temple's the best and most fitting place. I will, of course, give you their names. And I'd like you to bring back my wife first.
Very well. We'll go up to the temple.
Up in the temple are actually two sort of carved pieces of stone with both of their names on. So you then have them to work off. I say that because I can't find the original notes.
It's all fine. It remains a mystery.
I did have them.
You just weren't expecting this to
I
happen.
was not expecting that to
And yeah, and in that case, Kirik will take diamonds instead of... You've seen Kirik cast some resurrection spells, but instead of a diamond, I actually place diamonds vaguely in the shape of a humanoid figure. There's about 25,000 gold pieces worth of it. And I sprinkle the diamonds with holy water. And it takes an hour to do that. And at the end of it, I will cast True Resurrection. And say the name of Dargon's wife.
Can I ask you both to roll me D20, please?
This is assuming that by this point Kira can cast 9th level spells, but I'm assuming yes, for the purpose of stuff.
Safe.
I only need one more level, so you know. D20. Jesus. Okay. $17.
12.
As Kirik's power reaches out to these diamonds and the holy water, and beyond in the temple, the symbol of the Everlight grows. Glows. Struggling with words tonight. Glows a bright gold, and the very armour that is placed in the centre of the temple also glows a bright gold. To the point where the temple is filled with blinding light. And as Goliaths outside the temple walk up to see what's happening, they too sort of shield their eyes. And there are combined whispers on the air. The voice of the Everlight, and the voice of the Matron of Ravens. A final gift to you, Dargon. To right a wrong that never should have happened. And over the course of the 2 days, not just your wife, but your daughter, returned to form. And rather than shock, misunderstanding, both of them sit up, and both of them look you dead in the eye each time. It's about time. Hello, Daddy.
Hello, little one. I'd speak to my wife on the first day. I'd be like, I wanted to bring you back first, because I wanted to be with you when she came back.
I know. It's okay. We're here.
Welcome home.
I'm here. Is this home?
Well, I wondered if you wanted to choose to come with me to a new home with my friends and my other family and meet them. One of them was so kind as to be
ask.
the one to bring you back. And I look over at Kirik.
Thank you. All you ever had to do was ask, Dargon. Now bring our little girl home. And for poetic license, we'll say that your daughter returns to you in the same moment as the power of the gods just combines to reunite a family once more. Atop the mountain, in the Nalakutha tribal homeland, in the Oblivion Isles to the west of Ardalia. And it is a tearful reunion, it is a joyous reunion. And the Goliaths that remain within the tribe see it as a miracle and a reaffirmation of their faith to the Everlight atop this mountain. Word of the miracle spreads. Acolytes of the Everlight flock to the west, and eventually the tribal home sees a steady stream of visitors, as those who wish to pay homage to the Everlight seek out a site where her magic has shone through stronger than it has done in a long time. Between your family and the rest of the tribe, the temple itself is rebuilt to its former glory and even better. Kirik hangs around for a time and helps rebuild before returning. And then eventually you make your way east again to reunite with your friends in Nialin.
I work with the Goliaths of the village then to keep up the upkeep of the temple, but also say that I will return on a yearly basis on that day with my family as a little pilgrimage every year to see how they're going, stay for a week, see how it's all going, and then return. And I return back to Nialin to stay on the council of the king and to find an area of Nialin that I can settle, where I can be found for council, but to create and run
Stop there.
something else.
Stop there.
Stop.
Before you leave your tribal homeland, a missive does arrive.
Yep.
To say that should the tribe agree, it will be welcomed into the kingdom of Nialin as a ward and a province of the kingdom, benefiting of all its wealth, all its protection, as a gift from your friend Ander. Which I've taken poetic license on that one.
That's all right.
And as you return east, Ander, we go to you. You have spent time during the year dealing with minor incursions, but also just reaffirming Nialin. You send search parties out for the Stillmen. And after a period of about 6 months, word comes back that a body is found. The body of a green dragonborn. But no blade.
God damn it. Okay.
Your focus then turns from the search for the Stillman to another task that you had desired to do. And you're reminded of your teachers in your life, but one in particular, Mistress Mafalda. If you would like to describe to the folks at home what you would like to do in your city and beyond.
So just to pick up on the Baal sword bit, you know, I talked that I would set up a rehabilitation program for all of the rogues and vagabonds and all of that from the Black City. They also kind of become my network of spies across Nialin, wherever they are placed. So they will be on the underground search for the sword in the background. But yeah, what I would like to do is I would like to rebuild the original Bardic College in Moonbrook that I trained at and I learned at, but I would like to establish across Nialin other Bardic colleges for all of the other disciplines that I haven't learned and have yet to learn, and that'll be open to all of Nialin and Enoeth, so it could be a great kingdom of learning as well as trade and prosperity. So Bardic colleges for all across Nialin.
And with the wealth of Nialin and the trade that comes in through the new mercantile prowess from the west of Nialin. You set up a grand series of bardic colleges that extend beyond Moonbright into Essamir and beyond across the nation, covering all disciplines, and Nialin becomes known not just for its prosperity, its kindness, but also its devotion to the bardic traits, the bardic abilities, the bardic arts, if you like. Finally, having built this network of bardic colleges, as the year comes to a close, you seek out Kirik. You find him in Telma, in the Grand Temple of the Raven Queen. What is it you wish to ask him?
I do not know. Have I written this down?
Yes, you have.
You must have done.
Fuck. Is it around the...
Scrolling through our messages.
Education, sir. Education.
PowerPoint.
Well, around Kirik, I continue my tutelage in the Raven Queen under Kirik.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. I panicked then. I thought, I was like, what have I asked? What have I... Yeah.
So yes, to help you out, Andy, you reach out to Kirik and you organise a regular time for you two to study and for your understanding of the Raven Queen to grow.
Can I say...
Go for it.
Can I say that Kirik accepts under the condition that whilst Anda is in the temple learning, he is not king. He's just like any other student.
Right. So, like any other tip, I'll leave my shoes and my crown at the door.
Crown just on your shoes.
It's an important lesson. It
is an important lesson.
Don't let people know this though, because I'm at my most vulnerable here. So let's keep that between us.
It's alright.
And that's why we do it at the Telma Temple and not the one in Essamir. Because I basically book it out as a private hire and I get me and Kirik have the place to ourselves.
In hits only paladins, there's not really anything else in clerics.
Yeah,
yeah, indeed, it's fairly well protected as well. Excellent. So the king's education continues. Not only does he visit his own bardic colleges, he visits temples of the Raven Queen, studies with his friend, and eventually Dargon returns and, as he says, seeks out a plot of land to build.
To build a school or academy for fighters. More precisely, fighters who want to fight for someone. Just anyone. Any higher power. To learn how that's different to just swinging a sword. And a few of those who are particularly proficient without fighting for a particular deity. They get a sort of scholarship kind of thing. They need to be there to learn their special maneuvers. And he uses that time and his effort to keep himself busy, to keep himself active, and to pass on what he's learned.
Excellent.
It would also, being an academy, hopefully would have enough people to be able to teach them as well, so that he could still come back and give counsel when needed. Especially now that we've got a few extra people on our borders. Not just Nialin we're looking after.
As you all reunite now, the Thunderhand Academy is started. The Bardic Colleges of Nialin prosper. The study of the Raven Queen spreads across Nialin. And you also take time to follow through on promises. The embassy to the Hells is torn down, and in its place a memorial built to those who fell in the battle for Nialin.
That's a power move right there.
Nice. Yeah.
You maintain the Fey Embassy, and Bothrid spends much of his time there, actually, helping to usher ambassadors to and from the Feywild, helping you to maintain that relationship. Every now and again, you pop through and pay a visit to your childhood friend.
I'd like to think me and the Queen might have summer vacations in the Feywild.
Summer vacations in the Feywild, why not?
Summer court
Come
vacation.
back
weekends in
3
the
weeks.
Feywild.
I was about to say, come back 3 years later. Don't remember that you went on holiday and be like, oh, we really should go on holiday. We never do that.
We went on a shagging holiday for 2 days, come back 20 years later, Nialin's burnt to the ground. Everyone's dead. Brilliant. Campaign 4.
Once you're all reunited, and as the days, the weeks, the months pass, a second year rolls round, and you all meet outside Telma on the battlefield, as you have agreed to do once a year, to commemorate that date, that day, that battle. And while you're all remembering and taking your time, Bothrid steps in front of the three of you.
I've been waiting for the right moment. I wanted to make sure you were all settled and okay. I've been thinking about my place in this world. Well, I've decided I'm going to take a trip. I'm going to leave the life of violence and anger behind me. And I'm going to go and live in the Feywild. And be closer to that power. But I didn't want to do so without saying goodbye. You know, time works weird there. And I also wanted to say thank you for helping me make my life mean something more than just a average hobgoblin in any warband. I see you all as my brothers. And I'll check in on you when I can. time I found something new.
It's never goodbye, Bothrid. It's always a see you soon.
Always.
Dargon just gives him a
Proud of you,
big
boys.
bear hug.
Oh, doggone, don't you're gonna make me cry.
Who's going to look after the Royal Gardens now you've gone?
I think we've educated enough. And I can always send the odd sprite through, I guess. Just to help.
I'll miss Bothrid's breakfasts the most.
We'll miss
I
you,
will
Bothrid.
always remember our home.
Nialin wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
Very true.
For us.
Yeah. But just remember your part in that.
I will. And you all share a moment of time together. A couple more days together. And you all meet together at the Fey Embassy as Bothrid, with some simple provisions, turns to the portal and looks at it. And then turns back to you three. Hope you'll find someone worthy of these. Especially this. He's going to lay his javelin of lightning down. The woodcutter's axe. And then he holds out nature's thread. As for this, this is definitely best with her. So I'm going to take it, and I'm going to hide it. And whoever she thinks is worthy of it, they can have it.
If it's okay with you, Bothrid, I think the other things will stay here, stay in the throne room, proudly with your name on them. Till you need them back, of course.
I'm hoping that day doesn't come.
Quite. But everyone needs to remember Bothrid. Friend and family. And a guardian of the Vale.
And he's going to smile and look at you all, and a tear sort of falls down his cheek. And as he turns and steps through the portal, his body elongates and white fur begins to grow. And a familiar crag cap stands on the other side of the portal now. And for the first time since you've known Bothrid, no lightning bolt pattern in the fur. And there is just a lowering of the head and a very loud purr type sound before Bothrid turns and scampers off into the Feywild and beyond. And so, my Wardens, I ask, is there anything final you wish to do?
I have a question. When Nialin returned to Inueth, did the chasm, Shadowfell chasm on the Isle of the Dead, close?
No.
Okay. In which case, obviously I'll figure out a way to do that over the years and months as a way to close that. I'd like to close that. I think it goes without saying. Shivspire will be rebuilt. I made a promise to rebuild Phaliad, so obviously that'll be rebuilt. But I would like Remley to spearhead Shiverspire's rebuild and then become my Warden of the North in Shiverspire.
Yeah, I mean...
And after that, mate, just marriage and kids for me.
I suppose, yeah, in terms of Isle of the Dead, we'd probably have to potentially revisit that as, are they still there? As you say, close off chasms. And without jumping into what Kirik might want to do, but also did we not want to probably find out the fate of what happened in the east with Greenflower? Because we wanted to, I suppose, from our character's point of view, we wanted to check that what Kirik did worked. From the player's point of view, we want to find out. So you were
told by Mephisto that the villagers of Greenflower had returned.
Cool. Yeah. Okay.
As for the isle to the south, although there was the whole remains, life also returned to the island. And make me a charisma based Arcana check, please. Or an intelligence-based Arcana check, because I don't know which is higher for you. They might be the same.
I'm proficient in Arcana anyway, so it's got my proficiency bonus on it.
Okay, so what's higher, intelligence or charisma?
Charisma.
Okay. So whatever you've just rolled, make sure you add the difference between your intelligence modifier and your charisma modifier.
Not great, mate. It's only a 13 I rolled there.
Okay. With a 13, you begin to just about figure out that even the trip into Phaliad is now difficult. The easiest way to traverse the realms is through the portal that you have to the Feywild. All of the realms are more distant. That is all I'm going to say for that one. You do send Remley off to the north to be Warden of the North. You treat with Eticus to the east. Peace falls across Nialin. As the years pass,
do you ever have that feeling that you're being
you and Mirabelle, not only rule over Nialin, but forge a legacy for yourselves. As you give birth to 3 daughters.
I do? Fucking hell, that's a turn of events.
Well, you know what I mean, the both of you. Mirabelle gives birth to 3 daughters. Would you like to describe them and their names, please?
One of them better not be a Goliath, jeez.
In a true, in a sort of poetic ending, I have 3 daughters, which then obviously mirror the 3 sons that Gareth had, in a nice little parallel. My firstborn daughter will be called Johanna, after Johannes, and she will be the spitting image of her mother. It's quite scary how much she looks like her mother. My second daughter will be called Theodora, after Theogodon, and she will be a pale-skinned, icy blue-eyed individual. She was conceived whilst we were on a trip to the Feywild, so she is indeed a Fey-touched child.
Nice.
So her hair shines green in the sunlight, which is a really weird contrast with her icy blue eyes. And then my third daughter, she's quite a stoic presence, really. She's quite very pale-skinned, jet black hair and eyes, and she is called Raven. She's a bit of the strong, silent type. That one.
All
yes,
three of
no,
them
well.
have you wrapped around their little fingers.
Long story short, the wealth of Nialin has slowly dwindled away because of them three.
Yes, darling, you can have whatever you like.
No, but I will say that Johanna does like to spend her time in the royal gardens that Bothrid built.
Nice.
Theodora has taken quite a liking to Uncle Dargon and his academy, so she hangs out there quite a lot. And it's pretty obvious what Raven's into, isn't it?
Nice.
She's a bookworm.
I was going to say, Uncle
She likes
Kirik
Uncle
has a
Kirik.
definite student there.
Yeah.
And so then, as the years pass, a fellowship forged through the work of champions never wavers. And although they left the task of adventuring behind, the Wardens of the Vale always carried the scars of their journey and the memories that bound them together. Despite their newfound lives and their new responsibilities, they always met, once a year, outside the Grand Temple of the Raven, be it minus one individual, to commemorate the victory that they and their allies were so fortunate to achieve. And indeed it became a national holiday in the returned Kingdom of Nialin. Ander ruled over the kingdom with a keen mind and charisma of a much beloved leader. Alongside his wife and his family, they ushered in a new age of prosperity, despite the odd challenge. He raised his daughters to be strong, to be wise, but also to be kind. Never forgot a single promise he made to the kingdom, and often called upon his fellow wardens for guidance where needed. Other nations looked upon the Kingdom of Nialin with both reverence and sometimes jealousy. The bardic colleges of Esamir and beyond were a shining example of Ander's wit and intellect. Students travelled across the world just to spend a week amongst their halls, and as was Ander's way, no student was ever turned away lightly. He continued his studies with Kirik, and was often found in Esamir's Temple of the Raven, seeking the guidance and wisdom of the matron. It is said that when the king died, the whole nation came to pay their respects, as did creatures from the Feywild, including an unaged hobgoblin. A grand oak tree sprouted and remains full and green above his burial place. And legends tell of a silver wind that dusted the ground with snow. Dargon trained many a strong warrior, and always affirmed his faith to the deities of the light. The Nalakutha tribal home became a ward of the Kingdom of Nialin, as we said, benefited from its wealth and connections. Acolytes of the Everlight travelled for miles to study within the once lost temple. And the numbers within the Thunderhand Academy grew and grew, and eventually great tournaments were held at the Crucible of Cord to challenge the strongest fighters of the nation, with the victor being granted the title that Dargon bestowed on them of Vraconian Knight.
Nice.
Dargon lived out the remainder of his years with his returned wife and child, knowing that one day they would all return to the river, but safe in the knowledge that his work was done. Always there to lend an ear to the king, he never forgot his bonds of friendship. At the time of his death, Dargon was buried within the crypts of his ancestral home, within the Temple of the Everlight itself, surrounded by his loved ones. Bothrid even found the right moment to return from the Feywild, again having not aged a day, and snow fell upon the village, despite it being the height of summer. as his soul entered the fields of Elysium. Dargon felt nothing but warmth as he finally found peace. Kirik's faith remained stronger than ever. It is said that the Raven Queen never loved an acolyte like she had loved Kirik. He built temples across the land in her name, not just the one in outside Tolma. And indeed, the Matron of Death became something of a chief deity in Nialin, although her presence, much like the other gods, was felt only in the most rare of moments. Kirik always welcomed those who felt lost, offering them guidance, offering whatever they needed, and helping them to discover their true destinies. He was buried beneath the Grand Temple, in a crypt of white marble. As his body was interned, it is rumoured that the very air turned to ice, and the gentle sound of a stream could be heard. In truth, the Raven Queen met her champion at the edge of life with the deepest gratitude, and walked him herself, arm in arm, to the ninth gate and beyond, allowing him to finally rest. A hobgoblin and an old half-elf adorned in a scarf were the last to remain in the crypt that day. Bothrid left the life of violence behind. Instead, he devoted himself to nature. The Feywild granted him the chance at a new life, a free life. He lived mostly in solitude, conversing with animals and plants around him, and occasionally the dryads of the grove. The courts of the Feywild always looked in on him, but neither sought to turn him to aid their political struggles. Indeed, the nature of the Fey realm meant that Bothrid long outlived his brothers. He would visit them every now and again when he could. He watched them age with a sadness, but also immense pride, and he wept as he watched each of them pass beyond the mortal world. After a time, Bothrid would begin to write. He wrote a grand tale in an ancient primordial tongue. A story of 4 wayward individuals, alone in a world beyond worlds. Individuals who found themselves together, drawn together even. Individuals who became champions, who became wardens. Wardens who became heroes. When he was finished, he wandered the edge of the Fey realm till he found a river. At the edge of the river, he crafted a small basket of vines and reeds and let the tale go, bound in a cover of layered wood and leaves. A tale to be discovered in a distant, strange land, where all thoughts of magic and monsters lay in the imagination of individuals and the collective storytelling of good friends. And so, my friends, my wardens, this is where we close our story. And this is where we leave our wardens. So thank you.
Offering
That was alright, wasn't
So
it?
there we have it.
Motherfucker.
That was
So
alright.
yes,
We flipped a coin, kept him alive, and he ended up being the best one out of all of us.
We did. We were like, oh, you know, let's keep him around.
so that concludes our story. For campaign 1 at least.
Hey.
So thank you all
Fucking hell.
for being amazing players. Because, as was alluded to at the end there, this is a collective story. and made all the better for working with you three fine gentlemen.
I wish I didn't
Yes.
have a plate
This
of
is where we
onions
end.
on the desk.
Yeah, that's what I'm blaming
This
now.
is where
yeah.
we end
I'm
campaign one.
allergic to cats. That's what I'm saying.
It's all good. But no, listen, this is where we close campaign 1, but rest assured we will be back with a second campaign, which we plan to start in the new year. So we will post the updated schedule for the coming sort of 6 to 8 weeks on our social media channels. We'll put it in Discord. But until we all see each other again, I just want to thank you all, thank the fans, thank subscribers, thank followers, thank everybody who supported this in any way, shape or form. Thank you to everyone who's listened on the podcasts, anybody who has watched on YouTube, anybody who has popped into our Twitch chat and our Twitch stream for the briefest of moments. Thank you all. And we have been the Malt and Magic crew, and I guess that's it. So thank you all once again, and we will see you soon.